Cây sưởi nhà tắm than 80% người Việt Nam sử dụng.
Do you know your Export Control Classification Number, or ECCN? If you ship items abroad, you may encounter this question at some point in the process of your export transaction. You may ask, does my product have an ECCN? What is it used for? Where do I find the ECCN? And why won't my freight forwarder ship my package without one? And what does EAR 99 mean? These are all questions you may have. Hi, my name is Clarabelle, and I work for the Bureau of Industry and Security at the U.S. Department of Commerce. The following clip is a sample of the type of calls our agency often receives from exporters. I hope it will offer some basic information about ECCNs and EAR 99 and help you get started in reviewing your transaction. Let's begin.
Hello, Exporter Counseling. This is Douglas speaking. How may I assist you?
Hi. I just spoke to my freight forwarder, and they're telling me that I need to give them some sort of ECC number to ship my package. I've never done this before. Can you help me?
Sure. Your forwarder probably is looking for what's called an Export Control Classification Number, commonly referred to as an ECCN. ECCNs are found on the Commerce Control List, which is a part of the Export Administration regulations. Are you exporting commercial items, or is this item designed for military use?
It's a commercial item. Why are you asking that?
Here at the U.S. Department of Commerce, we regulate the export and re-export of most commercial items. This includes products such as clothing, building materials, circuit boards, automotive parts, and retail software packages. Defense articles, on the other hand, and services are under the jurisdiction of the Department of State's Directorate of Defense Trade Controls. We want to be sure you're speaking with the right agency.
I've been in the export business for almost 20 years, and I've never been asked this information before. I thought the freight forwarder was supposed to take care of all of this. Isn't that what I pay them for?
Well, as the exporter, you are responsible for providing the correct export control information to your forwarder. Your forwarder asks for this information, and that's just to ensure that you know the correct authorization for your export. The forwarder needs this information to file complete and correct shipping documentation in the automated export system record.
I see. Does every commercial product have an ECCN?
Well, no. In fact, about 90% of exports by value are shipments of items that are not on the Commerce Control List. The vast majority of the exports subject to commerce jurisdiction are of items designated as EAR 99.
What does EAR 99 mean?
EAR 99 is a basket category designated to cover most commercial items that are exported out of the United States. If your item is not described in an ECCN on the Commerce Control List, then it is designated as EAR 99. EAR 99 items generally consist of low-technology consumer goods, things like clothing, jewelry, artwork, and household goods. Those are EAR 99. In most instances, EAR 99 items can be exported to almost all destinations without an export license from the Department of Commerce. There are some exceptions.
So my item will be specifically described in a particular ECCN, or it will be EAR 99.
That's correct.
Sounds like I've got an EAR 99 item. Then it's smooth sailing from here.
Well, that's one way to look at it. In general, if you determine that your item is EAR 99, you may proceed with your shipment, provided that the export is not going to an embargoed country, a prohibited end user, or for a prohibited end use. Screening the transactions for these end user and end use based reasons is an important part of your due diligence as an exporter.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, I already have my product Schedule B number. Will that tell me if my product has an ECCN or is EAR 99?
Well, it's good you have your Schedule B number, but it's not going to help us here. As Schedule B numbers do not correspond to ECCNs, the two systems were developed for different purposes.
What are they used for?
Well, Schedule B numbers are used to collect statistical data on exports from the United States, whereas ECCNs are used to determine Department of Commerce export licensing requirements. ECCNs indicate an item's reason for control, such as national security, missile technology, nuclear nonproliferation, crime control, and anti-terrorism, just to name a few.
Well, I can see why they call it export control classification number. I can see that this export control business is pretty important to know about.
Yes, in fact, without knowing the correct ECCN or EAR99 designation for your product, and without properly screening your transaction, you and your forwarder could export in violation of U.S. export laws.
That's the last thing I want to happen. I want to get this right. Now, tell me what I need to do to get this shipment out ASAP.
Well, the first step is to classify the item according to the specific technical characteristics described under the ECCN entries on the Commerce Control List. If it is described on the list, it will have an ECCN. Otherwise, it will be EAR99. Once you have your ECCN or determined that your item is not on the Commerce Control List and falls into EAR99 designation, we can help you determine if an export license is required to send your item to a particular destination.
I'm looking forward to getting started. Let me get my product spec sheets and I'll call you back.
Great. Just go over what we covered. Commercial items are under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Department of Commerce. We maintain the Commerce Control List, which identifies items by Export Control Classification Numbers, or ECCN. If your item is not on the Commerce Control List and does not have an ECCN, it is classified as EAR99. EAR99 items generally consist of low-technology consumer goods and only require a license in certain situations. These include if your proposed export of an EAR99 item is to an embargoed country, to an end user of concern, or in support of a prohibited end use, in which case you may be required to obtain a license. I look forward to helping you further. Just ask for Douglas when you call back.
Wow, I didn't realize that the government could be so helpful.
I hope this scenario helped to explain the difference between ECCNs and EAR99 and the importance of not only determining your product's classification, but also screening the transaction for end user, end use, and other prohibited activities. My colleagues and I at the Bureau of Industry and Security are here to assist you. If you have further questions or need additional guidance along the way, please call us. Thank you and have a great day.